guys, it's Monica. Welcome back to the channel. As I'm sure you picked up by the title, we are adding a new little nugget to our crew. I'm so happy to let everybody know that I am pregnant with baby number 3. If you've been wondering where I've been or noticed a slowdown in my videos, it is because I have been hiding under a rock for the last couple of months, trying to survive the first trimester. I'm one of those people that feels like every moment of pregnancy and the first trimester was pretty rough for me. I didn't get morning sickness, I had the whole day sickness, constant sickness. Luckily I didn't have hyperemesis. I didn't throw up all the time, I just had a constant feeling of nausea and stomach upset. So we found it officially with an early pregnancy test, but I had actually known that I was pregnant for like a week before that. I just had to wait a week to take the test. So it's so strange, and I've talked to a lot of people, so let me know if you get this too, because I haven't found anybody else that has this. But I get this telltale sign with every pregnancy super early on. I feel this distinct pinching sensation, and it's happened literally every time I've gotten pregnant within 3 to 5 days after conception. I can only feel it in this early pregnancy window for about a week or so, but it's happened consistently with every single one of my pregnancies. So this time around, we were actually driving down to San Diego and I started to feel that sensation, and I look over at Tad and I was like, definitely pregnant. But we had to wait a whole other week before we could take the test to find out for sure. So for that whole time I was like, oh, am I not? Even though like I know that sensation, I know that feeling, I still wanted to have the confirmation obviously, but I definitely knew really early on. So I ended up taking the first pregnancy test way too early, like I always do. I always start testing because I can feel that sensation, so I always start testing way earlier than it can actually pick up. So I think for all of my kids I took the test so early that the first tests were always negative. It was that Saturday I got like the faintest squinter line on the pregnancy test where it was like, is that really positive? You know, with those like squinters you always like second guess it. So I waited till the next morning and I got like a definite line. It was definitely still faint, but it was a definite line that everybody could see. It happened to be Mother's Day, so that was kind of a fun way to start my Mother's Day. So then over the next week or so, I proceeded to take a million other tests because that's just what I do. But it just gives me this peace of mind knowing that I'm getting consistent positive tests. If you have this instinct too, I learned after my first pregnancy that you don't have to go buy the $10 test. You can actually go to the dollar store and get tests for $1. So it's a much more cost-effective way to be neurotic about your pregnancy test. I did have a chemical pregnancy right before I got pregnant with Ruby. And if you don't know what a chemical pregnancy is, it's basically a super early miscarriage that most people would have no idea that they had because it usually terminates before you even miss your period. But since I get that pinching sensation, I knew I was pregnant, and I had tested early and got a positive test on that Friday, but by that Monday the test was negative. All of that on top of the NICU nurse thing, so it just is reassuring for me to take lots of tests. So I'm 12 weeks and 4 days today, and we just had our 12-week appointment yesterday. And we did an ultrasound and got to see the baby for the first time. And I like to limit the number of ultrasounds just because I like to kind of do the least amount when I'm pregnant and just kind of let the baby be as much as possible. And so I don't do the early ultrasounds. And the baby was too small at 8 weeks to pick up on Doppler. So this was really the first time that we got confirmation that there was a real baby in there. So really up until yesterday, I was only like half convinced that I was gonna have a baby because I just, like I said, I get into my NICU brain, or, you know, I don't know why, but I just like run all these what if scenarios. And so seeing the baby on ultrasound was really reassuring and definitely the most exciting part of pregnancy so far for me. And I felt like I can finally like be excited about it and accept that this baby was probably really coming. We took the kids with us who are 5 and almost 3, and they were so excited and so cute. And I definitely recommend, you know, if you think your kids can handle it, taking them to these appointments. I found that when I had Ruby, Jude was involved with the whole process and he got so excited. And I also think it's really educational and they learn a lot from being involved in the process. And I think that it really helps with the whole our baby thing and their transition and their excitement level. So during this appointment, which is a 12-week appointment, they do the nuptial translucency test, or the NT test, which screens for heart defects and things like Down syndrome. They look at this line at the back of the baby's neck and measure that distance Luckily, everything looked good with our baby. And we also did the blood test, which will do some additional screening as well as tell us the baby's gender. So in about a week or so, we're gonna know if it's gonna be a boy or a girl. So we'll be really excited about that. Everybody in our family seems to think boy, so we'll see if we're all right. Baby looked really good and was measuring actually almost a week ahead, but don't let that fool you. I'm probably still gonna go super late, but the baby was measuring like 13 and 1, and it was supposed to be 12 and 3. So good size baby in there. As far as the kids go, they've both been involved from the beginning. Like I said, I just think that it's such a valuable thing for them to go through, and also I wanted them to go easy on me while I was feeling so sick. Ruby, who's almost 3, has been so cute. At first, she wasn't too sure about the idea. She was like, no, I'm the baby. What are you talking about? But that only lasted for like a day or two, and she has since started to embrace her role as a big girl, which has been super cute to watch. Every day, she's always asking, do babies like this? Do babies like that? Do babies like hugs? And then she'll come and she'll want to hug my belly if I say, yeah, babies like hugs. Or she'll ask, do babies like strawberries? Or whatever she's eating, she'll ask if babies like that, and it's just the sweetest thing. And she has tons of questions, and she's really excited. And at the ultrasound appointment, you can just see it on her little face, like her excitement. And she'll just randomly like wake up in the night and be like, I'm waiting for the baby to be here. We tell her it's gonna be a really long wait, and it's not gonna be until after Christmas. And she understands that, but she's really excited, and it's super cute to watch. And Jude, who was awesome with Ruby even when he was 2, this is like, he's like, I'm the pro now. He's telling Ruby everything about being a big brother, big sister, how it's all gonna go, how long it's gonna be, and just filling her in and kind of prepping her for what it's like to be a big sibling, which is pretty awesome to watch. He has been super sweet to me and really understanding. Like when I was just so sick and I couldn't even sit up at the dinner table, and I would just like lay down on 2 chairs. Todd would be like, are you alright? And Jude would be like, remember, she's growing a baby, Dad. Growing a baby is really hard work, so Mommy's just feeling a little sick, so she has to rest. And like I said, it's just really endearing and sweet to watch him as a second time big brother. So as for my symptoms, like I said, first trimester, super nauseous and like the all-day nausea. I only threw up one time after a bad incident with some broccolini, which had previously been my favorite veggie. Broccolini I love, but this pregnancy, after that, it was like, oh, I guess I can't do that for at least this part of my pregnancy. There's like a major aversion there. It's really funny, like with the morning sickness, it's like the opposite of morning sickness. When I wake up in the morning, I actually feel okay until I start to get hungry, which happens pretty quickly. But as soon as I start to get hungry, then I feel like super bad. And I'll eat and I'll feel better for like 5 minutes, and then like 5 minutes after eating, then it just gets bad and just pretty much bad for the rest of the day. The only thing that really helps is sleeping, but I did get some lemon essential oil, which I would carry around with me when it was really bad, and just smell that, and that gave me like some temporary like relief, but didn't really take it away. It was helpful, but it didn't eliminate it by any means. I didn't do the C-bands or anything this time because I've tried that in the past and it didn't really work for me. What actually did start to help me was just eating like little tiny amounts of food and not doing big meals, like not doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but just kind of snacking, grazing throughout the day. That seemed to help. Whenever I'd have a big meal, it would just be really, really uncomfortable. And so spacing out into little meals seemed to help. I've also definitely been super tired, almost from the get-go. I was just knocked out tired. My normal operation is to stay up super late, and that's kind of when I'm like focused. That's when I get a lot of stuff done. So I'll stay up, you know, after midnight most nights and kind of force myself to sleep by 1. But ever since this pregnancy, I have been so tired going to sleep between like 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, which at first I was like, no, I was like fighting it, but you know I need the rest, and it's just part of this short cycle. So I've since embraced it, and now I just go to bed super early, and that helps with the fatigue. And I have 2 little kids that I'm taking care of. I was like barely able to stay awake during the day, but ever since I started kind of making sure I get like a huge chunk of sleep at night, that's been helpful. So POTS wise, and if you're not familiar, I do have a condition called POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is a dysautonomia. It affects my heart rate, and when I stand up, my heart rate goes crazy and goes really, really high. I get activity intolerance and really bad fatigue, so it's hard for me to do anything with any stamina just regularly. But with the pregnancy, it's kind of exacerbated that, and I've had it for about 6 years, so it has been getting to be more manageable, where it used to be every time I would stand up, I would black out or I'd gray out. I wouldn't faint because I knew it was coming, so I would just have to get down. But kind of as my body adjusted to it, I didn't get the blackouts or the gray outs as much. But with the pregnancy, I'm definitely getting more of those, and so I have to be really cautious when I stand up. And I think this happens with a lot of people during pregnancy anyway. I have to be cautious when I stand up so that I don't get super lightheaded or pass out. And then I've noticed that kind of my normal light activity that I can do is a little bit more challenging, so I'm getting fatigued a little bit more easily, and you know, my tolerance to standing and activity is lower than it has been, even though it's always kind of low and I always have to do a lot of sitting and take a lot of breaks. It is a little bit exacerbated with the pregnancy, but I think this happened with all the pregnancies in this early stage. But as my blood volume increases, then it kind of levels out back to kind of a normal level, like a normal for me level. So weight gain wise, I think I've gained maybe 2 or 3 pounds. It's kind of hard to say because I was like, had gained some and then I lost some, but I think just that first trimester, just like with all the digestive stuff that goes on with you, I was just extra bloated. So I was slightly less at my 12-week appointment than I was at my 8-week appointment. My 8-week appointment, I had actually gained more than I was a little shocked about how much I gained already, and then I lost it. So I think it was just like pregnancy hormones messing with my digestive system, and as it's kind of normalizing, then I'm kind of where I was with previous pregnancies. So like a 2 to 3 pound gain so far. So with my other 2 pregnancies, I didn't really get a noticeable belly until close to like 7 months. So I'm interested to see if this pregnancy will follow suit or if I'll show faster. They do say that like with your subsequent pregnancies you might show faster, but I didn't notice that with my second one, so I'm interested to see what will happen with this one. And I've always appreciated seeing everyone's pregnancy bump pictures and kind of where everybody is throughout their pregnancy. So here is my 12-week very underwhelming belly bump. But once I do start getting bigger, I'll show you guys a trick that I use to make your regular pants grow with you and last through your pregnancies, so you can possibly avoid having to buy more maternity clothes. So with my first 2 pregnancies, I was actually able to stay in my regular clothes throughout the whole pregnancies and just, you know, obviously adapted what I wore. Everything didn't fit. I have a lot of like loose shirts or, you know, t-shirts, stuff like that, leggings, and using my trick that I'll show you in another video, I was able to stay in my regular clothes and not have to buy maternity clothes, which was pretty nice to not have to go and buy a whole new wardrobe just for a few months. So again, we'll see if that'll be the case again this time, or if pregnancy number 3 will just be like they say and just like totally different or unpredictable. Exercise wise, I haven't really done anything stringent. I mean, I never can do like stringent exercises with my condition, so I've just kind of kept to really light walks and light hikes. I take the kids every week, twice a week to forest school, and we do really light hikes, and I bring my chair. I have a cane chair and I will bring that with me, and I'll just take breaks as needed. So I've been doing that, and that's actually really good for me because I think that pushes me to stay active so that I don't decondition anymore. But other than that, I plan once, you know, I'm feeling better, and I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so once, you know, I'm feeling better, then I'll plan to start my light yoga and stretching that I try to do every day to kind of prepare my body and be as ready for the birth as possible. And I'll try to make a video on that. It's super basic, it's super simple, but I do feel like it gets my body in the right place for birth. Okay guys, I'll try my best to pass along any tips or insights as I progress through the pregnancy. If you guys are following along, if you're pregnant too, I will be doing regular updates like I said. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.